Hey everybody, welcome back to the MVM Show. I'm Titus, your host, and I got some good buddies on today. We're excited. I got Johnny Helton and Barney Helton, brothers in the Lord and brothers biologically.
Yep.
But you've both been on here, but I think it was different times for different episodes.
Yeah,
it was.
Together.
Yeah, so you can go check those out. That was 2 camping trips ago, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Hey, are you guys bringing your stuff up to camping?
Yeah, I'm sure we will, yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
I'm going to bring mine too. My goal is 20 episodes.
During camping.
I know I probably won't hit that. I the most I've done is like 9, but I'm just like,
wow.
I'm going to try.
That'd be good for us to do too.
You guys just want to sit around on. Okay, so the reason, guys, everybody listening in, why I brought that up is because they are starting a podcast. These guys have tons of experience, been guides for a long time, been hunters for way longer than that since they're barely walking, if maybe not even that, might have been packed on their backs, but we're going to let them talk about that a little bit. They have a podcast launching today. Actually, we'll have it launch at the same time as mine, just this one time, but I guess they'll have it at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know why it seems pretty high, but anyways, I really would like for you guys to check them out. These are really good lifelong friends that I've had for a long time. Pure Adrenaline Adventures. Check it out on every platform. And I also have in the notes too the link, so you can just go straight over to it. It'd be a lot easier that way. So why don't you guys, I don't know which one, want to tell how it came about, or both of you can kind of walk us through what made you decide to do it, besides having lifelong stories.
Well, probably, 10 years ago, me and Johnny started talking about Sirius Radio.
This is when it first started getting popular.
When people
started, So we started talking about maybe doing a Sirius Radio channel, and Johnny actually had guided a guy that has money, and we'd discussed about, that's a lot expensive deal to get into. But I never had heard of a podcast at the time. Never even had heard of one, never even heard the name. And actually a guy from the gym I know, he's worked for Hot 105, been a radio personality for years and years. He came to me once, he said, you guys ought to think about doing a podcast. And I didn't want to sound like an idiot, so I didn't ask him what a podcast was. And I went home and searched it on my phone and found out what it was. Well, then that was it. Me and Johnny talked about it, and we're really good at procrastinating.
That's what we do best.
Procrastinating.
It's your skill.
What we should have done.
So we've been talking about all these years, and every time we just never follow suit through with it. And one day here about 2 months ago now, or 3 months ago, whatever, when we called you, we was riding up to work in Yosemite, and John said, we got to do the podcast. I said, all right, I'm calling Titus now. That day I called you. You was the first person to hear about it. And called you. You told us what to buy, and we bought it that very day. Bought everything, so we wouldn't back out.
You screenshot and sent it to me. I was like, oh, he ain't joking.
No, so that way we wouldn't back out, because we're really good, again, at procrastinating. So that got our rear in gear. And then you told us we needed to have a certain amount of podcasts recorded beforehand. That way we don't get behind. So we've been recording them here and there when we can, and we've got enough ready now. And so far we haven't really got into the guests that we want to have. We have a good lineup of guests coming on, and we're really excited about that. So so far we're just trying to work through the kinks of us sounding goofy.
Yeah,
but that'll take a while, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the way it started, the podcast idea. And if we probably wouldn't have done it if you wouldn't have been a podcaster. We probably would have never took the plunge.
Yeah. No, I doubt we ever would. 'Cause it's weird when you don't know anybody that does something, then it's unknown and you don't know how to get into it.
Yeah. Doing the unknown is always... I had a buddy, and I wonder where I would be in the podcast, because once you get on top, just like with anything, you kind of stay up there, right?
Yeah.
But I have a buddy that started one 1 or 2 years before me, had to have been maybe even 2, and he told me all the time, start a podcast. There's no waterfowl podcasts out there, man. You need to jump on it. He goes, mine's doing great. And I'm like, that does sound cool. But I kept, same thing.
Who would have thought, 320 episodes later?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It's kind of crazy, and I love it because I like to talk. I like to talk to people and meet people. And honestly, and I wonder where it's going to take you guys too, because it's helped me meet people and become friends with people I would have never without it.
Right.
Like I couldn't have done a video with them and they wouldn't have took my phone call.
Right.
But for some reason, When I'm like, hey, you want to come on as a guest? I guess it kind of has a sound to it like, oh, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you can get. So I'm curious kind of what kind of guests you could potentially have on. You might, who knows,
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel confident if I want to deal with getting them on and all the rigmarole of doing it. I feel like I could have almost anybody I wanted to if you just try hard enough, you know. So
yeah, especially you because you have an established podcast.
Yeah, but
obviously,
even you guys.
Yeah, obviously ours is not nowhere yet. But
yeah, but
we are lucky to know some in our field, some good people. And our podcast is mainly going to be stories. That's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to get into a lot of other things, probably as much, maybe from time to time, but mostly it's just going to be telling hunt stories.
We say that, but look how you branched out now.
Yeah, you do everything now. So
well, because I realized I did with my YouTube channel, I realized I kind of put myself in a little bit of a box, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you build off of, it's hard to add in other things with it. If it was just waterfowl, like I would try to do some deer hunts or something, it just doesn't. And I'm not a good deer hunter like you guys are, so I'm not going to try to teach people something. Right. I'm just going to film a hunt. That's it. Yeah. And you're going to find all kinds of flaws what I do, but I'm very confident in waterfowl.
That's the way we are in waterfowl.
Yeah. but in your podcast,
I'm not going to teach nobody. I can't even teach.
Don't listen to these guys. They know what they're doing. They kill plenty of ducks. Trust me. But anyways, yeah, I did realize I was like, uh-oh, if I'm not careful, I'm going to do the same thing with this podcast. Is I'm going to put myself in this little box, and I'm like, I don't want to do that because we would throw in little things about spiritual things or whatever in ours, and I would get feedback from that, whereas I wasn't getting it from none of the tips or stories or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just use this. I'm going to go every avenue.
We're not shying away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I meant just Sarah's come on here multiple times. Right. I've had all kinds of stuff. So it's like people like to listen, man. Yes. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys do with all this. I figured it probably wouldn't just be hunting, but
yeah.
Anyways, so you guys are launching first one today, today's Friday, we're recording, but this is being released. So I'm happy for you guys. I'm excited. I think it's going to do really well, honestly.
It's something we've definitely between the two of us talked about, and I had never talked about it to no one else for all that time because it was one of them things. If you mention it, you have to follow suit through. I think I told you that. Mm-hmm. So once you put your thoughts out there, you can't back off from that. Yeah. If I was just telling him, I could back away from it. Just telling my brother.
Well, we got talking about is, we're getting old.
Yeah,
we're mid-life. He's 54 and I'm 48.
53. He's wrong.
So if we're gonna do anything, need to get it done. Like what kind of prompted this was finally this year I started my own outfitting business. I actually went through with it and did all the paperwork, got everything.
Yeah, tell us more details about that.
Well,
I forgot about that.
I started here in California, and it's under the same name, Pure Adrenaline Adventures. I got a website out there.
And that's the site?
Yes.
So pureadrenalineadventures.com?
And also we have started a Facebook and Instagram page by that name also. Okay. Haven't done anything with it, but it is both started and up. Yeah.
Oh, then follow that. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know that.
Yeah, so here in California, I'm going to be specializing in backpack hunts in the high country.
Oh, nice.
There's not a lot of people who offer that.
Yeah, I don't feel like you hear about that.
No, because that's all I've did for the last 15 years in Alaska is backpack hunts. You carry everything on your back and you're out in the wilderness for 10 days. Okay,
so I know it's not jumping the gun because we might as well put it out there. If someone wants to talk to you about it or are looking to do that with you, do they just go to your website?
Yeah, just go to my website. All my contact info's there.
Okay. Yeah, check that out, guys.
Right now, I'm only in California, so.
Okay. But that's kind of cool, though, because is there anybody that really does that?
There's a lot of outfitters. The majority of them are over on the coastal areas on private properties.
Okay.
And then you have, you got some really good outfitters
there's some
that do the sheep and the elk and, all the species we got. But where I'm going to be doing it, I don't know of too many that are doing it up there.
Especially the style. Of course, your clientele list is smaller because it's 8 to 11,000 feet hiking in, and so that not just everybody.
So
can
what big game is involved? Just anything they get.
Well, eventually I'll be doing all the California game.
Okay.
Yeah, elk, sheep, antelope, deer, and bear.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's cool.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
But my main focus is going to be deer and bear.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's already. really established sheep guides, and I'm not even going to pretend to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lead someone on, tell them go with me when they got them people. So it'll take a while to get into that.
Gotcha.
But
so anywhere in California, or is it a specific?
No, I got it. It's specific areas. It's where I get permits to go into the national forest.
Okay. And you already have all that?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay.
You have to get wilderness permits for each wilderness. You have to go if you're in the Inyo wilderness or Tuolumne, whatever wilderness you're going into. You have to.
So you just pick what you want to do, basically.
Yeah, and eventually when I get it going better and actually get some clientele, I'll pick out probably 6 or 8 different wilderness and get permits for each one. That way, that covers most all the area that I've ever hunted in. So,
okay, that's cool. I wondered how that worked. Right on. That's cool. Let's see. I feel like I missed something about the podcast. So you talked about how you guys wanted to do this, and you finally just made yourself do it and stuff. I mean, where do you guys see this going down the road? Like, we'll move on to some other stuff, but I mean, what's kind of your thoughts there? Now, this is audio only, guys, which I know that's probably what they want to do. And if I had to do it over again, that's what I would do. I wouldn't even got into video. It quadruples your work. For some, just recording audio is, you guys you'll see in 5 minutes you're done doing an episode.
Yeah.
Meaning uploading it and doing all the titles and all that, you're done.
After talking to you, that kind of made our decision easier, which I was already thinking that way anyways, but after talking to you, I definitely just audio. And
it's like you said,
simpler.
Once you commit to something, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's really the only reason I keep going with this, because now it has grown. It's got a couple thousand subscribers on that YouTube channel to view it, but it's like, well, I can't quit now, but I would have not even started.
I'm thinking of yours. I've never watched one. I listen to them.
Yeah.
Because I never have time to sit down and watch it.
I don't either. When podcast.
I watch
you
your.
listen to podcasts
it's
while
long
you're driving.
Yeah. It's long form. I'm not watching it
because I watch your Mid Valley Mercenaries, every one of them. But I never watch the podcast. I don't think I've ever watched a podcast of any kind.
Yeah, I haven't either. Yeah. I might have watched a little of Sean Ryan's, because sometimes you wonder what the guests look like.
Okay.
Speaking of Sean Ryan, you got any gifts? He gives all his guests gifts.
Hey, right here. I know, huh? Yeah. You know, it's so funny you say that, because there has been one other person that came here and said, so what are you going to give me? I was like, what? I just put your name out there. I gave you the gift of life. No, that is a cool deal. I would love to do that. I think he might make a little bit more money than the MVM show.
I think his Patreons is giving a little bit more.
You wonder what that guy makes.
Well, isn't he the number 2 rated?
Is he really?
Show now, I believe.
I didn't know
that. What's the guy?
Joe Rogan.
Joe
Rogan.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's insane, because he's in a niche. He's straight up military.
Yeah.
But he does
getting
out of it.
That's true. He does do a little.
He spread it out a lot.
That's true.
He's going into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he's turned his life around. He's gave his heart to the Lord, and since he has, he's
totally different.
He's got different guests now than he had before.
Yeah.
It's noticeable.
That's true. Yeah, I guess there is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys listen to that one? We'll move on, but did you listen to the one where he had that guy, he wouldn't show his face? He was an Afghan. He's a local Afghan.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the U.S. has given the Taliban like $40 million a week.
Yeah, a week. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
That was just a couple weeks ago.
No,
don't listen to it. It'll make you mad.
Oh, I will.
And you know it's the truth too. Like this guy's just like have you noticed some other countries think, well, they think we're idiots because
we are.
Our leadership is.
We are. Yeah. And we're idiots for allowing it to keep taking place.
And that's what they're saying is why aren't you guys doing something about it? And I guess in our heads we think we can't. But I don't know what what they would do.
Yeah, I guess we got to be careful what we even say.
That's a deep road, you know.
Yeah. I've had podcasts pulled off here.
Yeah.
Deleted off of YouTube,
Yeah.
And what's crazy was it was me, Andy, Matt Yarbrough. That's the only one he's been on.
I remember that one.
And they deleted it.
I remember
it's still on Spotify and everything else on audio, but the video, YouTube took it off. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is nuts.
I'm like,
who has the time to go through each one of them?
Exactly.
The same people.
It has to be a listener that got offended over something stupid.
And of all the crazy things I've said, right, and all the crazy things I've said, why? So it makes you wonder. There must have been a lot of truth in that one.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about anti-war and like it's not, it's about them government making money and stuff like that. So I don't know. Andy said a lot of stuff too, but It just is like, huh?
It's the same people that govern Facebook, I guess. Because you see people all the time getting knocked off Facebook for
I'm surprised.
long periods of time.
Well, Instagram kind of does the whole. If there's something graphic, they'll like.
But they show murders on there.
Yeah, but then but the animal stuff they'll block.
I know. Don't even make no sense. I seen one the other day. It was I don't know if it got took down, but I seen it, a murder on the Instagram thing. Mm-hmm. It was on the animal thing, and then it popped up a human, and I thought, wow, I can't believe they would allow that.
Right, but they block you from seeing a zebra killed by a lion.
As I watch, that's what I kind of stuff I watch. I'm fascinated by it.
Right.
I know it's sad in a way, but another way, it's nature.
Do you follow that Nature is Metal page?
I do.
That's crazy. Yeah. You almost feel bad sometimes on that stuff. You're like, man, nature's brutal.
Well, nature is the most brutal way. Them animals die.
Survival.
They get eaten alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's the
it's
way.
It's rough to see an animal laying there.
It really is.
And looking around while something's eating it up.
It's not. Yeah, I don't get no joy out of watching.
You think about two animals that's in North America by far that's put on a pedestal, and it's wolves and bears. Mm-hmm. By no other animals even compare. Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize about the boar bear will kill every cub it comes in contact with to bring the sow back into heat. Mm-hmm. You kill him and eat him, then he'll go breed the same sow that he just killed the cubs to. That's just nature.
Yeah, it's just a circle of life up there. It is. Just keep doing it over and over and over.
But that's human. Animals are. They have no feelings. They don't have no feelings. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't feel pain. The way we feel pain, animals don't feel that. They don't notice pain like that at all. I
guess it's what the soul that I don't know what it is that
you
makes
can see an animal be eaten alive. Nothing about them changes. They just grow weaker.
I think their body just instantly goes into shock. Something triggers their brain, and they don't feel it.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah. Johnny seen some years ago. He seen a boar bear chasing a sow with cubs. Mm-hmm. And
I watched him.
Yeah, and he didn't see it catch it, but the next day that bear had killed one of the cubs.
There was only one left.
There was 3 cubs, and so we watched this for I think 2 full days. And next time I saw that bear the next morning come out of the same spot, and she had 2 cubs, and that big old boar was chasing them. It ended up with 1 cub.
No way.
Yeah,
got both of them. Or 2 of them.
Got 2 of them.
He killed that boar. And that sow had actually tried to fight that boar off.
Yeah,
that got scars all over his blood. I mean, recent, big cuts on its nose. So it had tried.
Man. She fought him off pretty good.
I've seen.
Will a boar ever kill the sow? Like
it's happened, yes, but that's not common. It does happen though.
So she can fight him off for sure as best she can.
Yeah, she's no contest for a boar.
No. Yeah,
I mean it's like a man and woman, no different than man and woman. They're no contest whatsoever.
Yeah,
yeah. But I've seen them chase 2 different times. I've seen boars chase cubs, but I've never seen them catch nothing. But they can out. I seen one time a boar was down in the valley, and that sow with 3 cubs was at least a mile away, way up at the top. They stay up in the snow because they're leery of the boars. That boar got a whiff of that sow some way in them cubs, and it turned. And it's a huge bear, one of the bigger bears I've seen. Went all the way up there and then snuck to it. It got within about 200 yards, and then the sow seen him. I don't know how she seen him because I know he was the way the wind was blowing, or at least where I was. She wouldn't have smelled. She must have seen him some way. Where her and them cubs, they took off and quick, and he wasn't going to catch them. He turned right back around, made the mile trek down. I mean, he gained 2,500 feet elevation to go up there, and all for nothing. But that's just what they do. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They don't get tired. They can literally walk up a cliff for 2 hours straight and never stop and never even act like they even get winded.
Well, like you said, if they're not feeling pain like we do, I mean, what's to stop them? I mean, I guess you see animals take a break or get winded. I've seen videos of 2 boars fighting grizzlies, and it's like, whoa. And they go a long time, but they still will.
Yeah, they're
the springtime, you see them stop and catch their breath a lot more. But once they get their endurance back up, the fall, they can go.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're not like a cat. Cats, they don't have that.
And ties, I've seen them climb
straight
stuff
up.
Really?
I mean, like that.
Well, above where you got that bear with that scar out where I was at this year on that bear hunt, that back wall, that's just like this.
Oh, yeah.
I seen a bear
go
right up that like it was on flat ground and never even stopped. And we watched it through the spotter the whole time.
Crazy.
It is deep snow. You can see them just,
clawing.
Clawing. And they just went up it like no big deal.
Wow.
And I don't even know the reason why they do it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah, why are they going the hard route than just going across or whatever?
It doesn't even faze them. Totally different than we are. Always looking for the easy route.
Yeah. Well, let's go into your, this was spring bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go into your grizzly hunt and when that was and who, all the details about that.
Yeah, this year is May 10th. We went down there. I went down a week early.
Alaska, right?
In Alaska, down Chignik, Alaska, down the peninsula.
Okay.
And I went up there a week early to help my buddy who owns the business, Fast Alaska, to help him get camps together and everything. Because we had, I think, 10, 13 hunts this year. I can't remember for sure.
I think he says 13.
13. And so I had to get camps and all the food and the tents.
Was that Marco Polo of you in there when you were out? Okay.
Yep. So I got all that together. And then all the guys started coming in, and he started putting us out in the field. And so my hunt, I got Jeff Adair. He was my hunter, and he's from Utah. And he brought along his son and his son-in-law. So it was a really enjoyable hunt because they're really good hunters. Mm-hmm. They've hunted a lot. Mm-hmm. And you don't always get that when you're guiding. But they were fun to be with. And we saw... opening day, we could have shot a really big bear. It was like a 9-foot bear. And he'd asked about it. I said, well, we can do better. And so we just watched it for a couple hours that first evening. And then the next day, we saw another really big bear. And we tried to get in position to go to kill this one. And it caught our wind sometime or another, and it just backed out of there and never seen that one again. And then the third day was a little bit slow. And the fourth day, we got up there to our glassing knoll. And so I got up, we was there for like an hour, and I got up to go to the bathroom. And I walked over this, we were just like 50 yards from the top of the hill. And I walked over the edge, and just on the other side of the edge was that a bear walked up there just recently, like that morning sometime. And he had smelt us. But absolute giant. That's how I ran back and got him and said, guys, you got to see this. So they were just amazed because a bear track is basically, if you take the width of the bear track, say it's 8-inch bear track across, that's like a 9-foot bear. You add one, and that's how many feet it should square.
Okay.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
Does that work for black bear too?
I don't know that about black bear.
I think it does.
I've heard it does. Yeah. But I put mine, I got 9 inches from tip to tip, and it had a little bit extra. So I said, this is a 10-foot bear right here. And it's absolutely monstrous.
Explain how they square a bear. People hear 10-foot bear, 9-foot bear. Is a method behind it.
The way they square a bear is you skin it totally out, lay it on the ground, stretch it out. You don't move it again, and you measure from the tip of its nose to its tail.
Okay.
Straight down. So say it's 10'2", and then you at the same time you measure from the tip of his paw to the other paw straight across, and say it's 9'8". So you take that 9'8" and 10'2" and square that.
Oh,
and you come up with
you average those two, and that's what it is. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that how they were doing that.
Yeah, that's how you.
So most people think a 10-foot bear. That's how they're tall. You're not even measuring their feet. You're just measuring to the tail.
Like a 10-foot.
So when they stand up,
they're huge.
12, 13 feet
standing.
Yeah.
They're them big monster bears.
Goodness, that's like biblical proportions right there.
It's amazing.
Have you ever been close enough to one standing up like that?
I've had two stand up, but they weren't great big bears. But they were like 30 yards. They smell you and they're curious, and they come in and they'll stand up and chomp their teeth at you, and you're sitting there watching them, trying to scare them off. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never seen one of the really big bears that I've killed close up standing.
Man,
yeah, that'd be kind of weird. Yeah,
who has that in the is it Cabela's or someone has one of those real big grizzlies or brown bears in their who is that? Have you ever seen that one where you go stand up to it? I mean, it's just like towers over you. I can't even remember what.
It's probably Cabela's.
Sporting goods place that is.
Yeah,
man, that's gotta be crazy. So
we tracked this bear for about 500 yards back along this rim.
Okay, wait. So this was in the morning you saw this?
Yeah. That probably that was 9 o'clock in the morning.
So you went and got the guys, told them, hey, look at this track.
Yeah.
And then you start tracking them?
We did. We started following his track. And
that easy, huh? I mean,
oh yeah, it's just
because he's heavy and just deep.
Yeah, and it was pretty open in that area.
Wow.
So he'd come up. He'd either smelt us from the night before, or he'd actually come up that morning while we was there and smelt us, because the claws were still wet in the ground. You know where he's walking. So it's fresh.
Their front claws are at least that long, maybe longer. They might be like crazy. That. They're
how many inches? If you're listening,
5 inches probably. They're from back where they go into their into them out. Yeah, it's nuts. Oof. And
that back pad, his back foot, it's probably that long.
Well, last year, so last year
from the back of his heel to the
14 inches.
14
you mean with the claws or just his pads?
Just the pads.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the
14 inches.
Yeah.
The big bear I got last year, I had my wader boots on. My wader boots are 12 and a half inches long because we pretty much wear waders all the time because you're always in the water. And I put my foot against its pad, and it was sticking out both sides a good little bit. And it was nuts. Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy.
That's just like I said, just the pad. That's not even, not even the claws. But.
Man.
So we kept tracking and seeing where it come up over the edge. There's a big ravine below us. It went back down in, and we sat there for a while and couldn't see it because it's really thick. And so we went back to our glassing knob, and it was probably 3 hours later, and I looked across the 700 yards to where that ravine come up to another little rise, and he popped out over there. As soon as I seen him, I said, "That's our bear."
You knew.
I just knew, because you don't see bears that big too often. You know, you see big bears, but that one was extra special.
Did that one get you a little excited?
Oh, I was excited. Yeah.
You're probably kind of like this all the time, and then when that one, you.
Oh yeah.
Level of excitement.
Yeah. If you don't get a little excited over seeing a trophy like that, I don't know what would get you excited. But we watched it for just.
What time of day is this now that he popped out, you think?
That would probably been about 12.
At noon?
Yeah.
And what time is sun setting right now? Like
11:30
at night? Okay.
Yeah, you can hunt pretty much from 5 in the morning until midnight.
So you had about 11 hours before dark right now at this point.
Yeah. And he would actually popped out and started away from us, and they said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Well, we just got to sit here and wait and see what happens, because you can't run down a grizzly bear. Their regular slow walking is way faster than you can go." So he was just milling around out there eating, and he caught the track of a sow that had come through there the night before we'd watched come back over into our little canyon. So he caught that, and he instantly turned, and he come back, dropped back down the brush. At this point, he was 700 yards away, and as soon as he got in that brush, you couldn't see him. I mean, just instantly. And we're elevated 150 feet above that whole bottom, and you just can't see it because it's that thick. The brush in there is 10 feet tall?
Yeah, more. And you can watch a bear, and instantly it'll disappear, and you never
alders.
see it. Moose, same way. A moose will walk in there, and they're gone. They just disappear. It's crazy.
So we sat there patiently and waited and waited and waited and waited, and it was almost 4 hours later. I stood up and was just looking around, and there he was right below us, about 250 yards, but on the same side as us. He'd come across all that brush, and he was on our side. So he's still following
that trail, that sow probably.
Yeah, but I never saw that sow come there, so I don't know. It may have went there that night after we left. But so I grabbed the guy, said, "We got to go," and we took off running because you want to get close as you can. So we ran back up to the top of this knoll where we just directly, because he had the lead on us, and we got directly above him, and it was 160 yards.
Wow, you're close.
And he dropped down, and he shot it, and it jumped back across the creek and took off running towards the brush, and at that point, me and him both were shooting it because we're wanting to kill it before it gets in that brush. And come to find, we'd hit it, I think 5 times between the two of us. Went in the brush, and all of a sudden it just disappeared, and I'm thinking, I think it went down because it fell twice when we were shooting.
Really?
And So it got in the brush, and we waited for a good...
What are you carrying?
I got a 45-70 lever action.
45-70, okay.
Yeah.
And you just unloading on that thing?
A 400 grain bullet, and he was shooting a 375 H&H.
Wow.
And
okay.
I think he was shooting 320s.
Huh.
So it's a lot of grains.
And they're just that tough. They just...
Yeah. And after we found him, three of the shots was in its rear end because it was running away, you know. So we waited for a good hour, and we went down in there after it, and his son and son-in-law was with us. And so I'm in the lead, and they're all behind me. They all have a weapon. So I told them to just stay behind us. You know, you go over all the safety rules before you go in. So we walk in there about 15 yards, and he's not there where I thought he was going to be dead. But we did find blood. And so after that point, it's like your senses enlighten a lot.
Yeah.
So
what time of day? Now what time is this, you think?
It was, at that time, it was 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still pretty light then.
Yeah, because it was right at 6. Oh, yeah, it's still broad daylight. So we're walking through, and of course I got my gun like this, you know, because you can only see, well, the farthest you can see is your gray truck out there.
You don't see very far. You're looking 10 yards about.
And it's just mixed tree limbs, and so you're just
you're seeing blood everywhere?
There's a good blood trail.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not even looking at the blood trail.
Right.
I'm looking for bear, you know, letting these guys behind me kept saying, here's some blood, and I'm just going along. We get in there I think we probably went in about 75 yards, and it come up over this little rise, and that was the scariest part for me, because you had to come up on top of this rise. Well, I can't see to that level, you know, so I gotta hop up that little bank real quick without knowing if he's sitting right there. So I jump up there real quick, and I didn't see him, and we're tracking along, and just looking. You walk probably like 5-6 feet, and you just stop and just scan everything. All of a sudden, I seen the top of his back, and I'm looking at him. I told these guys to stop, and I see him lift his head up, and so I know he's still alive. I said, get up here, let's shoot him. And he starts walking up to get beside me, and he caught our scent at that point, and he let out a big roar, like, roar, and he lifted his head up and pushed himself up with his front feet. And as soon as he did, I just shot him right in the neck, because, you know, you can't take a chance at that point. I was wanting my hunter to shoot
Finish him off, yeah.
But you can't take a chance. So he just dropped right back down, and it was exciting.
That's crazy.
It was a fun one.
To let you know about the roar on the big bears, I've heard them roar that I know they was around a mile away from me. I heard 2 big boars seen them going from opposite directions, went into a brush, and they got in this little. I don't know if they was actually in contact with each other, but they was right next to each other. I just couldn't see them. But the roar was so loud, I could not believe it from that far away. And they was across a river from me, over there where you got that moose there in the creek. Yep. And then another time, I was laying in the tent at night, and a roar sounded like it was here to your truck. It was so loud, my hunter was freaked out. You know, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And them bear were 100 yards away from us. It was a boar and a sow, and sometimes when they get together, when they first get together, there's a little bit of confrontation.
There's some friction.
Yeah, there's a little friction before they iron their differences out, and there'll be a little bit of roar. And mostly that's a sow that's doing that.
Wow. So he was stone dead once you put that one in his neck?
Yeah, he shot him one more time afterwards, because he was just barely. I said, shoot him. I just wanted him to shoot him. But he was dead, yeah.
So now, like, do you wait to walk up to him for a minute, or do you just...
I knew that one was dead.
Okay.
Because he was laying in a little creek. The creek is probably about this deep, and his nose fell in it. That's what I think he was doing, why I kept seeing him lift his head, because he was laying in that creek. When they're wounded, they always go to water.
Really?
Almost every time they go to water.
Really?
I don't know if it soothes them, or I think it's they feel safety in that.
That's what Justin told me about that wolf.
Okay, feel safety in it or something.
Huh.
But he was trying to keep his nose, because he'd shot him through the lungs. He had a good shot on him on his first shot. So he was bleeding out. So he was sitting there, and he was trying to keep he was drowning. If he was nose fell in that water very long, he would be dead.
Right.
But as soon as I shot him, his head fell down, and of course he'd never come back up. So I knew he was dead. But yeah, when you walk up to a dead bear,
you're still like,
it's different.
You throw rocks, poke him with a stick, and you always have your gun pointed at its head or something, you know.
Yeah, it's like, what point do you finally just, okay, relax?
Yeah,
it takes a bit.
I bet it does.
I walked up to so many deer and elk and stuff, and I probably should be more careful.
Yeah.
But I never really am, because usually the time I get to it, I know they're dead.
Yeah.
So I just walk up to it and grab it. A bear, even if you know it's dead, you still do it with caution.
Yeah.
It's something different about it.
If it went,
yeah.
You'd be jumping.
yeah. Oh, man. So you said was its whole body in that much water? Or was it just a little tiny deal? I mean, did you guys, because you ain't moving that thing.
No, you don't move.
His whole body was in that creek bed.
So you guys were getting wet, pretty wet.
We got wet, and it took all.
Not that it mattered.
It took all four of us to roll him up out of there. Two of us, I don't know how I couldn't have done it,
man.
Because it was probably on our third or fourth try before we finally got him flipped over. It was tough.
How much was there any hooping and hollering when it finally dropped his head?
They were extra excited. Yeah. That was his dream hunt of his life. He's 65, I think they said. 67, something like that. And
these guys was cool because they're real hunters.
Yeah.
they're every one of them. They've been a lot of hunting.
They're the real deal.
So everything about the trip, they got to experience seeing multiple big bears, then getting the biggest bear we saw, and then getting to go in the brush after it while it was still alive. They got the full experience.
Wow. That's cool.
It was awesome.
Now, how long does it take at that point? Once that's done, get your pictures, obviously.
We probably took an hour taking pictures, and then with their help, we had it skinned out in about 2 hours because they all knew what they were doing with the knives. The heat.
I bet you were glad.
Oh, it's I love it when I get somebody that knows how to
and
help.
They probably want to.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Some of the people you get, they've never had a knife on an animal.
Yeah.
And it just amazes me that somebody's never skinned nothing, or even I've had hunters in Wyoming never gutted a deer.
Especially if you've hunted.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you've never hunted, I guess, but like if you've hunted and like.
Well, a lot of people from back east, they just put their deer in the deal and bring it to it. A lot of places will take care of it for you.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, the way we hunt, you don't have a choice. You have to take care of it right where it lays. Yeah. So we quarter everything on the deer and elk,
Yeah. So what you think that guy will do, a full body mount?
His son actually is he teaches at a college in Utah there.
Utah State University in Logan.
In Logan,
Utah.
Oh, okay.
That's where Justin went to college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he's going to donate that to their little place where he works. Because they have a bunch of different animals there in the research department. So he's going to donate. That way everybody can enjoy it and see it.
Right.
So
it's kind of, some parts you think, well, man, I want it at my own house, but that's almost more cool.
Yeah.
Because everybody can see.
He wants everybody to.
Yeah.
He said, I can go down there whenever I want.
Yeah. And you don't have to take up room in your own house. You don't have room in his house.
If he does a standing mount, he said he didn't have room.
So what was the measurement you said of that bear?
I didn't measure.
You didn't do the final?
I just know it's over a 10-foot bear. I've killed enough of them to know it's over a 10-foot bear.
That's crazy.
And to put it in perspective, 10-foot bear, and people in the outdoor industry probably heard that term. That is a rare thing.
It's a double-banded mallard.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's really rare.
It's rare as can be.
That's really, really rare.
Well, it's like a lot of people, they'll stretch it one way and get a measurement, and then stretch it the other way, and you can get another foot out of a bear doing that.
Because it wrinkles up the skin.
Yeah.
And get it longer.
So you lay it on the ground and don't cheat with your measurement. That's a giant bear.
Gotcha. Well, you got one too with your hunter. How was that experience?
It was a fun hunt. I had a father-daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. So he was a guy that he had actually been on a couple bear hunts in Alaska and not been successful, and he's been on a lot of hunts all over the world. He's hunted Argalis in Mongolia. He's hunted Kamchatka in Russia for snow sheep. He's hunted Kyrgyzstan. You name every country, he'd been all over. And he was a really successful businessman, and he sold out his business when he's in his 50s. He was 72 years old, and he said this was his last go-around to try, because he said he just didn't feel like he could do it anymore. But we was able to get him a wolf and a bear, so that was cool. Yeah, and we was talking about the bear going to water. he shot a wolf, and it was on the beach, and that wolf ran right into the ocean and laid down. And I
into the water.
Right into the water.
So was it low tide?
It was low tide.
Yeah, I figured it had to be.
Yeah, low tide, and just ran out there, and then by the time we got to it, was a little bit because it had ran away from us when he hit it in the back leg, and it was a marginal shot, but it wasn't. It was dying. It was losing blood fast. A lot of blood loss, and he just laid down out there. So we had to go in there and drag it out. But
I wonder why. So Justin said something about that too.
Yeah, that's what I asked him about the water thing. He said, he thinks it's probably something to do with safety, and then because they don't feel pain, they don't know what pain is. They don't. That's not a thought pattern for an animal's pain like that. But anyways, I don't know exactly why, but that's what Justin told me, and he knows a lot more about this stuff than I do.
Was it a male?
It was a female.
It was a female.
Yeah.
So what size are those?
So that wolf was probably 80 pounds. It wasn't a huge wolf, but it was a wolf.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare to get wolves, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he got a bear, and it wasn't nothing like Johnny's. It was just a bear, but it was an awesome stock from a long ways away, and just everything worked out. It was meant to be because
he's happy.
He was happy because it was the last time he was going to try for bear, and that was a dream hunt for him.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end of his hunt by the time we got his bear.
So you'd spent some time.
Yeah. So it was one of the, and we wasn't seeing a lot of bear. Like Johnny had seen every day. I was texting. We have inReaches. We can text back and forth, and he's like 30 miles away from me. But we never seen each other for 3 weeks. We never seen each other. Yeah. So that's one thing about when we hunt in Alaska.
I flew out before he got up there.
Yeah, he flew out
like
in the field
2 hours before he landed.
Oh.
So then I flew over him. I was there for the fifth day of the hunt. I flew over his camp. I was like, "Bye, Barney."
He texted me. He said, "I just flew over where you're at," because he knew the area I hunted. And he told me,
bad.
He said, "I feel bad leaving."
So yours only lasted 5 days?
Yeah.
And yours was 10?
I think it was day 8.
Well, I killed on the 4th day of hunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was there a few more days, and it was getting the pressure because that time, and we weren't seeing a lot of bear. Where I was at, we seen a lot of wolf and a lot of moose, but not a lot of bear.
What makes you decide? Who decides where you're going to go or be dropped off, or like
the outfitter decides?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I made up for it last fall because I was seeing so many bear. Where I was at last fall,
I
in
remember.
October, it was unreal. I've never had seen that many bear on a hunt before. That was the most I ever seen on a daily basis. It was nuts. Mm-hmm. But so I guess you win with some.
Yeah, it's just like hunting. It's hunting.
I've had easy hunts, quick hunts. Then I've had ones that. Well, remember the one about 4 years ago?
Yes, you were every day you were doing it. That was interesting.
I was in the field 17 days. Time I went the day because I went out there before the hunt till after the hunt. In the field 17 days. That was a marathon.
Rough.
And that's them long,
And you were getting stuck. You guys were getting stuck under like the tent for days, right? Because of the weather and stuff.
I spent a couple days and never got out of the tent.
I bet you feel like you're going to lose it.
Actually, at that point, you're just happy to be somewhere it's dry.
Sometimes, if the hunt's been going rough,
you need that day.
You need that day for mentally, because you can't be out there in it, so you can just totally relax and try to get
shut down and just relax.
I just lay there and turn some music on and not talk for a bit. It was kind of cool, but the wind gets unreal. The wind down the peninsula, and it's just freezing cold. I've never been there, and I didn't face some pretty cold weather at times.
On winter or spring?
It don't matter. It's fall and spring.
Or fall.
Yeah, October and May is the hunts.
Okay.
And the way the peninsula operates, it alternates spring and fall.
Okay.
So like last year we had a fall hunt. This year was a spring hunt. Now we won't have another hunt till next fall. Not this fall, but next.
Really?
So a year and a half in between before the peninsula has a bear hunt. Yeah. Because
of the rules and regulations, or?
Yeah, it's just the way they do their harvesting on that. Some places you hunt spring and fall, but here we alternate. I don't know if it something to do with bear numbers. I'm sure some way of biologists figure out numbers and go with that. We have an immense amount of bears. It's pretty crazy how many bears are there.
So give us a little. Well, I guess we've been going for a little while here, but give us a little sneak peek of what we'll see on the Pure Adrenaline Adventures podcast.
Well,
I mean, I know there's a lot to come, but
it's going to be personal hunting stories of ours because I've been guiding 16 years now.
Yeah, well, we got our foot in the door after our sheep hunt in 2007.
So it's going to be Alaska stories and Wyoming stories and our personal stories here in California of all of our personal hunts, guided hunts, and then we'll be having on people we've met over the years, some telling their stories to hunting with us, and then like we'll have
the outfitters we've worked for.
Outfitters tell us some stories. It's just it's mainly entertaining stories of successful and unsuccessful hunts.
Yeah.
But sometime we'll get into bad clients, good clients. But
we won't name no names on the bad
right.
Just such and such person.
That one guy.
Yeah.
So what's next on the agenda as far as hunts or guiding or anything? What do you guys got coming next?
So my next thing is starting in August. I start off with a goat hunt in Alaska with my son Jack.
Oh,
he
drew it?
He drew a goat hunt. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
A good tag,
you know what?
too.
Someone said something last night about Jack, and I didn't hear what they're like. Look what Jack drew, and I was like, I didn't hear what they were. Dude, that's awesome.
So that's going to
Are
be
you going?
No, I won't be going on that.
It's just me and him. We're going to be dropped off next to a river, and we got to raft down a river for a few miles.
That's cool.
Get off. So you put your boat all back in a tarp, string it up in a tree where the black bears can't get to it because they'll just chomp on everything. I've had them wreck my tent and all kinds of stuff before. And we hike from there, and I think he told me it's going to be about a 3,000 feet vertical climb. And we climb across a glacier. So Jackson get the whole experience in one
That's
hunt.
awesome.
The Super Cub flight in itself
Yeah.
is the most, to me, of everything I've ever done in Alaska, I don't think nothing I get more joy out of than flying the Super Cub.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
beyond-
jealous.
it's
I've flown in
beyond
a
words.
Super Cub, but never to land what you guys are landing in.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
unreal.
It's amazing.
Amazing how they
that's why I'm looking forward to our caribou hunt in Alaska next year, is just getting to see that place from the air.
It's unreal.
You're going to have a blast.
Man, I
There's
can't
no
wait.
place like Alaska.
So that's my big hunt for the year.
That's going to be a blast.
And as soon as he's
How long is that, Johnny? Like
It's a 10-day hunt.
10-day, okay.
Yeah. As soon as he leaves, I do another goat hunt with an archery client.
Okay.
And then if that goes quickly, then I probably will do a sheep hunt. And before I go down on the peninsula and do a moose hunt.
Okay. Well, you got a nice, sweet schedule.
And then we have all of our deer back here to try to get to in California.
Do you got any clients lined up?
I have no clients. I've just now
just
now
finalizing
got
everything.
it going.
Yeah.
And I don't expect to really get no clients this year. I'm going to try to get some trade shows this winter and then try to get some clients that way.
You going to go to the, what's the one in January? The Sportsman's
Show.
You going to go to that?
Yeah. I'll rent a booth there. But I did zero advertising, so there's no way anybody can even know about me.
Right.
You know?
Maybe this would be a good way to go through.
It might work.
What do you got going on, Barney?
So I'll be going to Wyoming and doing deer hunts. And I haven't made my mind up on elk hunts yet. So that's always, I don't do the elk every year.
Because that rolls into duck season.
Well, it does roll into duck season, but then also like last fall I didn't do elk because I went to Alaska to do fall bear. And then we have several hunts this year. My dad drew a good mule deer tag in New Mexico.
Oh, really?
It's a really nice tag. So we have that scheduled, and I can only take off so much time.
Right.
So we're gonna do that, and that'll be early November. Then we just found out with the California draw, he drew the best archery tag in the state for mule deer also.
Really?
Yeah. So he drew two
What in
good
the
tags.
whole world?
And that hunt will be taking place right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I know
That's going to be a cool
Are
hunt.
you going on that?
Oh, yeah, we'll go. We'll go on
both
that.
of the hunts.
those you guys are in both.
Me and Johnny are going with Dad. Yeah.
You know, Dad's 72,
73. It'll be 74 in October.
It's going to be it's archery.
Right.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really cold during that time.
The New Mexico hunt's a rifle hunt. So, at this point in time, we'd rather do something with Dad. That's the downside to our guiding is we've missed out on a lot of things we would have done with Dad, and that's probably one of my biggest regrets.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely we're going to be with him on both those hunts, and we already got the actual hunt in New Mexico. We hired an outfitter because Dad'll never draw this tag again. The odds were like 1 in 56, so pretty long odds to draw it. And so you have a chance to get It's a migration hunt in November, and it should be starting to rut. They could
get a nice buck.
So yeah, we're pretty excited about that one though. It's gonna be fun.
Is he going to get a new gun for that trip?
Oh, he has. Dad.
Well, that's a different trip, so you got to get a different gun.
Dad just had one of his guns that was already awesome, rebarreled, and new scope put on it, new stock put on it. So it's basically a new gun.
That's the one he's going to...
A 3378 Weatherby.
Oh, yeah.
But, he just had it all rebuilt. So that gun is dialed. Yeah, he's pretty set up. Dad has more guns than all of us all put together. So,
and he does his research.
Yes, he does. He's a research guy. If I want something, I would just ask Dad.
Yeah, let him do it.
And he loves the reloading.
Yeah.
So if you buy a new gun, he's going to figure out what's the best bullet to go through that gun.
You got to go out there and see his place.
I want to. He's even talking about shotgun stuff.
Yeah,
he's like, we need a job. I'm like, I will go whenever you want. I will come out there all day long and do that.
Well, you should see his deal. He's fixed it up. He's set
it's
up nice.
It's done. It's ready.
Oh yeah,
he's got it all.
Really?
He's set up nice.
He's got it. I mean, there's a bullet. There's a bullet. There's a bullet. There's a bullet. That fast.
Even for like
whatever dies, he puts in there. Yeah.
Okay. What about shotgun? Does he have that set it up?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, but he wants to.
We're gonna do it. Because that'll be fun.
Well,
I know.
Testing the different patterns of bismuth.
My biggest thing in my head is just the feet per second.
Yeah.
That's all about there's other stuff combined, but from talking to Jamie Muller, it's all about the feet per second. Like if you can get 1,200 to 1,300, that's the ticket.
Sweet spot.
So 1,500 just blows the pattern. That's why you got all these gaps. 1,200 just holds.
Right there.
Yep.
Well, Dad is that's his passion. Always, he's been reloading all of our big game hunting shells since the 70s.
Really? So you guys never buy store bought, really?
No,
I didn't know that.
No, we've always did reloads.
That's cool. That makes it so much. I don't know. Something's so much more special about that.
And he's the brains behind it. I don't. All I know how to do, he points and I do. Whenever I help him, but I want to learn how because he's going to be retiring sooner than later. And when he does, I can see Dad just shooting and reloading all the time because that's his passion. You used to be motorcycles along with it,
right?
And don't do the motorcycles much anymore.
He loves it. So if you get somebody like you want to go out there,
he'd do it.
He would love it. Yeah, because he's getting to show somebody else his gadgets.
Yeah. No, we talked on the phone the other day about that doing ammo, and I had brought up to him the stuff I talked about with Jamie Muller and doing that with the feet per second and pattern testing and getting it dialed. You know, be fun.
Well, think about it. I bet we could. Well, I know different people who loads their own bismuth shells, and they said you can reload your bismuth as cheap as what you can buy steel.
Right. Yeah. No, you can. It's just doing it. Like you said, sometimes I'm just procrastinating for years. I've wanted to do it for years, and I just procrastinate.
Yeah. Time.
And even then, Johnny, to me, that seems like important time. Like that's good time.
Well, it's
investment.
Good time. Well, not only that is the fellowship.
You're right.
You think about hunting. I love hunting, but I love the fellowship of hunting.
Yeah.
Like the guiding part of it. One of my favorite things about the guiding is not the animals; it's the new friendships I've made. I've made some incredible friends over the years from guiding. I'd have never known any of these people. It opens doors up for you. Well, this podcast we wouldn't have done.
No.
Wasn't for guiding. This is what provides so many stories for us,
Right.
And people we know now.
And being in what you be in brings a closeness a lot quicker. Because you're seeing the bad and the good of everybody, and you're waking up, you're sleeping, you're together the whole time.
I've learned this. You spend 10 days with somebody hunting, you're going to know about that person, their ins and outs of them, their family history, everything. You're going to know more about them in that 10 days.
Their character, their attitude.
You will in 10 years of just as people that you just be around or whatever. Because you're 24/7, you're together.
There's really no surprises after 10 days in the field.
No, there's not much.
Because like my that too, the military and just different things, but like even the Metaflight job, you're getting woken up all night. You're with them 24 hours straight, and you're like getting woken up. You're gonna be in your worst state. You're coming out 2 a.m. So it's like that's why you get so close, right? Yeah, because of that.
Yeah, and what you was doing, you can't be in a bad mood.
No,
that's the same with us. We can't. We can't be in a bad mood.
Not in a pub. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
We have to be our best.
You gotta be stronger. Yeah.
Because you got to lift their. Some of the hunters sometimes they get really, they lose the edge. All of a sudden they're.
Have you ever seen someone like kind of not lose it, but like kind of in a way, kind of break down a little bit?
I've seen people quit on me.
Yeah. I've had multiple people just quit.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. Call the airplane.
Is that frustrating?
It's very
beyond
frustrating.
words because
I know if they would stick it out for the whole hunt, we'd
be successful.
You'd be successful.
That's what I tell my hunters before I tell them this all the time. I said, I promise you this. You don't want to be as successful as bad as I want you to be successful. I love being successful. I hate failure. And when you fail, even if they quit, you feel like you're responsible for it in a way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then you have some people too. Most people, 99% of the people are great. But then you have some people that talk themselves up, you know, they're the toughest guy in the world.
And you know in your head, like, well, we'll see.
Yeah. And then it proves otherwise. Usually the ones that talk the biggest are the...
Always.
It's in life generally
and
that
see,
way.
some of the stories that we got, I'm not even going to be able to tell.
I know we can't.
Because
if someone finds out,
eventually they're going to watch.
Yeah.
And there are actually some good people that have funny stories on them, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't want to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful.
You have to tell that with the mics off.
It will get around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyways, all right, well, we'll wrap this episode. We got some other stuff to do. Thanks for coming on, guys. That was cool. And
it was awesome.
Guys, don't forget to check them out. You can click on the link below on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or you can just type it in, Pure Adrenaline Adventures. Check them out. Great guys, some of the best salt of the earth people I've ever known in my life, so you will not be disappointed, so check it out, and thanks again, guys, for coming on.
We appreciate you having us on,
Titus.
and all the help. I did let you know, if it wasn't for Titus, we probably would never have made the plunge, so we thank you for that.
Thanks.
It means a lot to us.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.